Alex Riley, followed by Patrick Hart.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I would begin by thanking the Minister for meeting with Jamidi, myself and Shelter, and for the positive response that we did get. I certainly will be supporting the bill that goes forward today because I think, as Sarah Boyack and others have said, there are a number of positive measures in that bill, although it would have to be said it would be a fairly dire situation if you brought forward a bill on housing at this particular stage and you didn't address some of the concerns that's out there. And I think it is fair to say that in terms of this bill, will it be judged as something that grasped the issues of the time and will be remembered for trying to actually tackle the many problems that we have out there. And I think it won't. I think it lacks that level of ambition. What I can say to Margaret Burgess is that the next Labour government elected to this Parliament in 2016 will cap rent increases because it is the right thing to do, and hiding behind technicalities is not an excuse for not doing the right thing. I remember in the 80s and the 90s the poverty trap and the number of people that were caught in the poverty trap and unable to therefore progress and actually take employment and move forward. And the excessive rents in the private sector right now are creating that poverty trap again and are holding many people back being able to try and get into work and take jobs that are not necessarily the best paid jobs, but the excessive rents in the private sector is a major factor and leads to the poverty trap that's there. But the truth is, and I've said it before, in terms of this bill, and we can have the facts, Mary Fee mentioned Audit Scotland report, Housing in Scotland, which does say that amongst the major challenges is a 29% real terms cut in capital housing budgets 2008-9 to 2011-12. They do also acknowledge the number of new homes in the private sector in Scotland is more than halved in recent years, and the pressures with an ageing population that are there. But the fact is that there is less rented affordable homes now than there was in 2008, 2010 and 2011. Now, as was said by one of the other speakers, Jim Hume, you can have this bun fight where it was us, it was them, we built more houses than them. But in terms of the people out there that come to my surgeries, in terms of the people and families that are homeless right now, it really doesn't matter who did what. The fact is we have a major crisis in housing in this country, in every community the length and breadth of this country, and we are not bringing forward any type of radical proposals here to begin to tackle that. That's why certainly I intend to work with Shelter Scotland over the next year or so to highlight why their policy of 10,000 houses a year is the right policy to begin to tackle some of the issues that are out there. The private sector, I don't believe, can meet the housing crisis that we actually have, and it's a flawed strategy that believes that private rented market can actually tackle the housing crisis we have in this country. I certainly am not ideologically driven by public versus private, but in this particular sector we need to build council housing, we need to build housing association housing, and we need to start to do that and do that at a much greater rate and faster rate, and be able to do that now. There are many families across Scotland. There are people who are trapped in housing that's not suitable for them. There are families that are massively overcrowded. Every MSP in this Parliament, I would have thought, must have a massive caseload of housing, must be engaged with the local authorities. And I would make the point also to the Minister, a lot of the council housing that is being built right now is being built by councils up and down the country who have been quite innovative in working with
tenants to raise money to actually build houses. So when we're given credit for the houses that are being built, we should give that credit to the local authorities that's
You
out
need to
there.
wind up, Mr
But
Rowley.
I will conclude, Presiding Officer, by saying, while I support this bill, we have a real housing crisis out there. This does not begin to address that crisis, and that's what we need to do.